This is Wayne Goldsboro Television. And boy, is that funny. It is. Thank you for being with us. Today is Thursday. It is Thursday. It's going to be Thursday all day. It's the 29th of January, if you're keeping up with that sort of thing. And my name is Wayne Alley.
And I am Kim Best. Good Thursday morning. Glad to have you with us. It is almost the last day of the month. We're getting there. This January has flown by.
1/12 of the year.
Gone.
Gone.
It was just Christmas a couple days ago, wasn't it? Seems like it.
Seems like it. Happy New Year.
Here we are. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
You still working hard and trying to keep your New Year's resolutions intact?
I am.
Okay,
I am
me too.
indeed. In fact, I've recently had a checkup from the doctor, and it was good, so I'm happy about that.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Proud of you.
Well, I work at it. You know.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Where did I put my hamburger, by the way?
Yeah, exactly. I know how that goes.
There's a big old fat cheeseburger sitting around here. Anyway, here we go. Let's see, who's on today's program, Wayne? Or do
we don't have that list with us today. We're not sure.
I left it in the, yeah, okay. Well, anyway, it's a surprise.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! There you go.
Yes, it is. You know, there's going to be a keynote speaker at a luncheon that is going to be taking place through the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce. And that is Wednesday, February the 11th. It's called Transportation Hot Topics.
Hot Topics.
Hot Topics. Secretary of Transportation, Tony Tater, will be the keynote.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be taking place from 12 to 1:30. I believe that is at Lane Tree. Yes, it is. Lane Tree. If you would like to register and be a part of this Hot Topics luncheon, you can give them a call at the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce, or you can visit their website at waynecountychamber.com. I believe there's a button on the homepage where you can register right there for Transportation Hot Topics.
There you go.
And if anybody knows what's going on and what the future of transportation in North Carolina is, it is the Secretary of Transportation, Mr. Tony Tater.
Yeah, that's true.
He came last year, you know, and gave us some good
that.
information and had a time at the end for questions and answers, and that was always nice and interesting to hear what our local folks want to know about. You know, what we're interested in. Is it the 5-year plan, 10-year, 20-year, or is it next month?
And I'll tell you something, Goldsboro, Wayne County is actually very important to transportation.
Oh, absolutely.
Not only in eastern North Carolina, but in the eastern part of the country. I mean, you think about it, we're halfway between New York and Florida, and all up and down the eastern seaboard where business and industry thrives.
Right.
We are at a point here that's perfect for storing, for manufacturing. Perfect. Somebody who wants just-in-time product can manufacture it right here and get it quickly. Either up to Virginia, Maryland, or Pennsylvania, or get it quickly down to South Carolina, Florida, Georgia,
Exactly.
Florida.
Exactly.
So we're in an ideal location
This
here.
will be a great, great place to be. Keynote speaker, once again, Tony Tater, and it'll be taking place Wednesday, February the 11th at Lane Tree in their auditorium.
There you go. Today, the 29th of the month, it is Curmudgeon's Day.
Once again, who comes up with these?
I have no idea. It's also National Puzzle Day.
Do you like puzzles?
I used to like puzzles.
Did you?
Yeah, I can't figure them out now.
I like them okay. I get bored very quickly. My grandfather used to love them. Did the great big tabletop puzzles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, and he and his wife would work on them for days and days and days.
Yes.
Then they put a piece of glass over it.
Oh, yeah.
So you could look at that puzzle.
Yeah,
Eat on that table looking at that puzzle.
Yeah, it's a puzzle of a table.
Yes, it is.
Look at that
I
table.
always found that quite interesting.
Yes. But I don't have the time, and I don't have patience anymore.
I don't have the patience.
I don't have patience anymore. Today is also National Seeing Eye Dog Day. That's very important.
Yes, it is.
And today is also Free Thinkers Day.
Does it usually cost to think?
That's good. That's good. Yes, it usually costs.
Do you charge when you decide to think?
Yes, that's why I've never been a free thinker.
Oh.
I charge to think,
Yeah.
yes.
Good gracious.
Nobody ever asked me to, though. So anyway, what do you think? I don't know.
Let's see, my goodness.
What do we have?
There is a tremendous amount going on at Goldsboro Parks and Recreation.
Really?
Good gracious. I mean, they have urban ballroom dancing, Zumba, Master League basketball, youth cheerleading and tumbling, adult basketball, ping pong tournaments, mini volleyball games, karate, free youth basketball. The list just goes on and on. It is amazing. You probably just need to go to their website because I'm sure there's something for you.
I'll guarantee you.
Goldsboro Parks and Rec, REC.com. You can find out the schedule and the cost, and I'm sure if there is a cost, it is very minimal. The fitness room is the one thing that you and I have talked about several times. It's for ages 18 and up.
Yeah, we've been in there.
We've actually been in there.
I remember that.
It includes treadmills, ellipticals, and the list goes on and on of what they offer. And it's they have flat screen TVs in there, and it's a small fee. I believe it's like $20 for the entire year.
Really?
Yeah, it's
well, that's
amazing.
Well, let's talk more about that a little later on. Right now, we need to go to our program.
Absolutely.
Well, the sun is bright, and it is a beautiful January day. It's the middle of January here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. We're talking with Jessica Strickland, the Cooperative Extension Service, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's who you are.
That's me.
Okay, we're at the Cooperative Extension Service here in Goldsboro and Wayne County, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things. What are we talking about?
Pruning roses.
Pruning roses.
Yes, it's that time of year to start pruning a lot of plants in your landscape, and roses is one of the big chores.
Everybody loves roses. There's so many different kinds, and one of the most popular, and we're going to cover this, is one of the most popular here lately are the knockout roses.
Right. Yes.
All right, and people have heard about knockout. Some people don't know what they are. What are they?
Knockout roses is a new variety of roses. It's more of a shrub than your traditional like floribunda or hybrid type roses where you've got the large flower. Instead, this is more of a shrub that you've got, you know, the rose flowers all the way around the shrub.
More of a shrub rather than
an individual plant with a few
So
canes.
you don't have the long canes.
That's right.
With the knockout.
Yeah, this looks more like a shrub.
Okay.
And they bloom quite a bit, so they're pretty prolific bloomers during the summertime. And also another thing is they're supposed to be pretty disease resistant, and so far, you know, they have proved to be disease resistant. There is one type of virus that's kind of showed up some in some roses, but for the most part, they're pretty easy to take care of. Don't require a whole lot of work, as compared to your traditional roses that you have black spot, powdery mildew, some other problems that you had to deal with quite a bit.
Okay, are the color selections the same in the knockouts as they are with all the others?
Might not be as many different color selections.
Okay.
Mostly what you see is the red, but they're, you know, with it being a new variety, there's other varieties, you know, probably coming
People are
out.
working on that, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, they're
Yes.
working on that. Okay, well, the knockouts, what about the growing season for knockouts? Are they the same as the regular roses?
They are. They're the same for regular roses. They're going to bloom in the summer, but probably have a longer blooming period.
A little longer then. All right.
Right.
Well, that's good. All right. So when is the best time to prune roses?
The best time to prune roses in general is late winter. So we consider late winter usually February, ideally mid to late February, but some people get started early because they have a lot of pruning to do.
Yeah.
So sometime in late winter, talking about anywhere from late January on into February, you want to do it before the new growth starts, usually early March. You want to get it done right before that new growth begins.
Middle of winter is about Groundhog Day.
It is.
February 2nd.
That's right. Yeah. So February is a good time. Some people asked about can they prune in November or December and go ahead and get the job done. Yeah. But you want to make sure that when you prune, you're encouraging new growth. Yeah. So it's okay to prune it right before spring when that new growth is going to start anyway. Right. But if you prune it November, December, and you encourage a little bit of new growth, if we have some warm weather, then you've got winter injury that'll probably occur to that tender growth.
You're looking at damage.
That's right. So you do want to wait till the late winter time frame.
But what about the warm temperatures we're having? Is that going to encourage new growth?
It could. We never know how our winters are going to play out, where we might have some early warmer temperatures and we get some new growth. So that's why some people look at late January, February to go ahead while it's still cold and the new growth hasn't started to prune them.
All right,
and that's okay.
Okay. Well, now what about when? Let's say, for instance, what if during February you go out and it's chilly and it's cold and it's cloudy and you say, well, this is perfect. So you start pruning and you prune a few things, and all of a sudden it warms up and things start budding, and then all of a sudden another cold snap. So if you have those buds, those tight buds, are they okay?
Well, there's not a lot we can do about it. It's just kind of the nature of our climate and our weather that you'll see some things bud out, or we have some really early blooming trees or shrubs that might start actually flowering early, and then you get a late late, cold snap or a late frost, even on into March and April. That can happen. So March and April is really a tough time because you do start to get that warm, and then you could possibly get a cold snap.
Right.
And there's not a lot you can do. You can try to cover them with a sheet and protect them, but otherwise, you just kind of have to let it run its course. And usually they'll bounce back from that. Usually it's not a long enough cold period that it's going to cause permanent damage. It's probably just going to kill it back, and it'll encourage more new growth. New growth will start over again.
All right. So there's nothing you can do about it. Don't worry about it. Just live with it. Right?
That's right.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, but if they start blooming, then you may have some damage. But if there's a little bit of freezing and the buds are still tight, then you may be okay there.
Yeah, you could be okay, and that's where if you've got a few plants, you might be able to take some old sheets or something if you know there's going to be a late frost and cover them up to protect them some, and that does provide some protection. You don't want to use plastic. If plastic's touching the actual plant, it's actually going to cause damage just by that plastic touching it. And you do want to make sure any cover, you take it off once the next day starts. Even boxes, I've seen cardboard boxes. Somebody will put a cardboard box just to surround the plant and protect it, and that would work. Yeah, that'll work fine. Just plastic's a big thing you want to avoid. Occasionally you get some questions about, well, can I do like you see strawberry growers where they put out water and it puts this film of ice. It's a very delicate process. They have to keep water running all night. It doesn't work well in a home garden situation.
No, and these are trained people.
That's right.
These are people who are trained to do that.
They're really watching the temperature, and any little change in that temperature when you're doing that process, can have a big effect.
We're going to look at how we should be pruning our rose bushes, and we have examples of what are these? These are knockouts.
These are knockouts. Well, this is some of the master gardeners, volunteers take care of the plants around our office. And they came and recently pruned them. They pruned them, in early January, and that's okay. Was it too early? And they pruned them pretty far back this year. Usually with knockouts, one thing with knockouts, you were supposed to not have to prune them so often. So with these, we did do a little more of a drastic cut this year, where in some years we might not cut back as drastic, but you don't have to make a real drastic cut every single year.
Every single year, you do not have to make a very drastic cut. But now this year, that's
right. And
all right, what about all the other cultivars of roses?
All the other types of roses, your floribundas, hybrid teas, grandifloras, those types, then you would need to prune them back, about like what we've done here, to 3 or 5 canes close to the ground, about a foot or two within above the ground. And you want to do that every year.
You want to do that every year?
Yes, for your modern roses, you do that every year.
To your basic standard rose bush.
Right.
Cut it close to the ground, 6 to 8 inches?
Yes.
6 to 8 inches, and leave 2 or 3 canes. Cut the rest of them out.
That's right. And you cut the rest out. Another kind of exception to the rule is your climbing roses. Climbing roses bloom on old wood, so they've actually got flower buds on them, ready to go. So if you happen to prune a climbing rose now and you cut it back to the ground, you probably have lost your flowers.
Oh no.
So climbing roses are one exception that you could prune out some canes, but you want to leave some canes undisturbed because you don't want to mess up those flowers. Or you could wait till after it flowers and then prune it back if you need to do more of a drastic cut.
Okay, now I really got a what I think is a good question here. You mentioned the floribundi.
Yes.
Floribundi. And the tea rose and all those. What's the difference between all those roses?
They're just all different hybrids that have been developed over time. A lot of times we kind of just lump them together and call them modern roses, but all of them's got some unique characteristic, whether it's larger flowers or more petals within a flower. But there's such a wide range. We just kind of lump them all together and say modern roses.
Now, was the floribundi named for a lady named Floribundi?
Not that I know of.
Okay. And on that note, let's do some pruning here. What do you say? Let's take a look at what we have here.
Okay, that works.
All right. Now, Jessica, tell me, when you're pruning, I see a lot of tools out here. Tell me what these tools are and how they're used.
All these are different types of pruning tools. When you're looking at pruning tools, usually one bit of advice we give is to make sure that what money you put into it is probably what you're going to get out of it. So if you buy a pretty cheap pair of hand pruners, they're probably not going to last too long, but you can spend a lot of money on some expensive ones. If you start looking at some companies and online, there's some expensive ones, but probably would go above the cheapest brand and buy something, especially if you're doing a lot of pruning, because they're going to wear out fast.
They wear out fast, and frankly, I have seen pruning shears for as little as $1.
Right. Yes.
In the dollar store, and if that's what you want to use, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that,
Right.
but just do not expect them to last forever.
That's right.
They're
Yes.
going, and the quality of the metal may not be quite as good, but in the beginning, at first,
Right.
they're sharp and you can use them. They're fine.
Right, and your hand pruners are used a lot for smaller branches, about 1 inch and less in diameter. So you're talking about pretty small branches, and everybody's probably tried this before. This is what's in your hand. You get to a larger branch and you start cutting and you start chewing on it. You have to kind of gnaw on it over and over to get through the cut, and what you're doing is just causing more damage.
Right.
So the proper tool is important. If you're
Use the
going to
proper
use a
tool.
larger branch,
All right, now this
Then-
what do you call these?
these are lopping shears.
Loppers.
So for your larger branches, when you're getting above that inch, getting into 2-inch diameter, this works better. You got a little more leverage
Right.
to get in through that cut and make a nice clean cut.
Okay.
Once you get to large branches, that this one doesn't work, then you're looking at a pruning saw.
All right, now pruning saw. Now this is nice.
Yes.
That could be a dangerous tool there,
It
couldn't
could be.
You gotta be careful with that.
But those work great for large branches that the other tools don't work well for,
Okay.
because you do want a clean cut. That's very important with any pruning. You got to remember, you're making a cut. That's an open wound that can cause pest problems, disease problems. So the cleaner cut you make, the quicker it'll heal to where you keep a healthy plant.
A fella told me one time that if you damage a limb or something like that, the insects can smell it, and they actually,
they know when the
They
plant's
know.
a weaker, less healthy plant.
They can sense
so
it.
yeah, because they're just more prone to problems.
All right, so we have pruning shears, we have loppers, lopping shears,
Yes.
and we have a saw.
Yes.
Okay, and for the small branch, for the bigger branch, and for the
Large,
bigger
yes.
large branch.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, what are we doing with this?
Yes,
What is
I brought some disinfectant wipes, and this is really important with roses or any plant that tends to have a lot of disease problems. If you've had a plant with a lot of disease problems, something that occurs when you're pruning is if I make a cut on a branch and it has a disease, and I make a cut to the next branch, I could spread that disease problem.
Oh yeah.
So you want to,
Okay.
if you do have disease problems or something that's prone to disease problems, you want to clean and disinfect your pruners. Easiest way is keep some wipes with you, and between every cut, just take a wipe it off, and then you can move on to the next branch.
All right. Now, I see these cuts here were made on an angle. Is that preferred?
For roses, it is. For roses, you would prefer at an angle, usually going from the away from the center, outward, and not going inward. So you can tell all these tend to be going
out.
instead
At
of
an angle,
You don't
like
want
this
it going
way.
into the center.
Ow. You know
Yeah,
what?
there are some thorns
There
there.
are some thorns
I just
there.
discovered that.
Yes. Okay. Whoops.
Yeah.
Now this again, these are knockout roses. and
So
these-
you've got a lot more canes. What you're looking at is the first thing you would do is take out once you cut it back and then you're trying to clean it up, is look for your diseased, damaged, and dying branches and get those out first. So if the canes are discolored or they looked old or cracked, then you'd want to cut those out.
Okay, so if they don't look healthy, then take them out.
That's right.
And if it's just your modern rose, if you will, leave 3.
Right, yeah. If it's a modern rose, then you're just looking at leaving about 3 to 5 of these.
3 to 5.
Usually most people go with about 4 or 3.
But now this is going to be a big shrub.
This is
isn't
a shrub, so it's got a lot more canes, and that's okay.
it? All right. Now when we're planting these, I see these are what, about 3 or 4 feet apart.
Right, yes.
Is that pretty standard for knockouts?
It is because part of what we were trying to do is have a mass effect here, so you wanted to have some overlap with them. You do want to give them their space, but you do need, if you want them close together to have a mass effect, you need to let them overlap a little bit.
Much more attractive.
Yes, it is.
To have a mass planting of roses. Now, do you know, are all these red or?
They all are red. There was one, I think, yellow one that got mixed in somehow,
Okay.
if I remember correctly.
Little contrast.
Yes.
There. All right, very good. Now, what if you do find a diseased plant, do you remove the entire plant or just the cane that's bothered?
If it's just a cane, then just remove that cane. If it tends to be the whole plant's diseased and really bad shape, then that might be a call that a judgment call you might make, is if it's just too many problems, is to replace it. But if it's just a cane, you can cut the cane out.
All right. Okay, so if anyone is a rose person who's growing roses, there's always something new to learn, isn't there?
There is. Yes, there is. And, with questions that people may have and so forth, they can always contact our office and to get information.
All right. Now, how would they do that?
A few ways you can contact. One, easiest by phone. The phone number is 919-731-1520.
Right.
They can stop by our office. We're open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. It's on the corner of George and Chestnut Street. Our address is Chestnut Street, but if you come on Spruce Street, it's the long brick building.
Right, long brick building, the parking lot's behind the building. That's where we are right now.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, what about someone who wants to learn more about roses? There's all kinds of sources available.
There is, and we've got some publications. We've got a lot of information that even web resources we can share also.
I know NC State University's website is enormous in their ag department.
It is. There's a lot of information there where specialists and so forth from the university have gathered and collected new information, and we use that information then and share it with the public. So.
And I believe there's a link available on our county website to the NCSU, ces.ncsu. blah, 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 blah.
That's right. And, it's CES for Cooperative Extension Service, .ncsu for NC State University, then .edu.
.edu, yes. That's right. But there's a link to that on your website.
Yes.
Which is found at waynegov.com, and then you click on the Cooperative Extension Service, right?
Yes, and if you get to our website, and on the left side there's a lot of categories, look for lawn and garden. And then that'll lead you to all the gardening resources.
All right, so go to the website, look to the left side, lawn and garden. Got it? Yes. I got it. All right. Jessica, thank you so much.
Yes,
Jessica Strickland, we're talking about roses and pruning. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
We are back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being where you are.
That's right. Happy Thursday.
Yes, and to you too there. Happy Thursday.
That's right.
Today, January 29th, John Beckley was his name. The year was 1802 when he became the first librarian of the U.S. Congress. He was paid $2 a day to be librarian, which if you do the math, that's $60 a month.
Well, what year was that?
1802.
Wow.
Well, not $2 a day. That's not bad, considering the fact that you could buy a house for $25 and it cost you $25 and a chicken.
And a chicken.
Yeah, you had to throw the chicken in. Yeah. Anyway, 1845, Edgar Allan Poe said "Nevermore," as he wrote The Raven.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
The Raven, published by Poe for the first time in the New York Evening Mirror. He took the pen name Quarles, Q-U-A-R-L-E-S, in signing the poem. Carl Taylor of Cleveland, Ohio, patented the ice cream cone rolling machine this day in 1924.
Rolling machine?
Well, it rolled ice cream cones. Before that, they had to, by hand, they rolled them up by hand. It was a cone that kind of rolled them up, but he invented the machine to do it.
There you go.
That's the American way. Actor Noel Harrison, 81 today. Catherine Ross.
Yes.
Catherine Ross, star of The Graduate, Final Countdown, Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid, and a whole bunch of others. She's 75 today, pretty lady. So is Claudine Longet. She's 73 today. Singers, movie, and all that stuff. Magnum P.I. having a birthday today.
Oh, wow.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
Yeah,
how old is he?
He's 70.
Wow.
Can you
seems
believe
like
that?
Yesterday it was Magnum P.I.
Yeah, Magnum P.I. What a great program. And of course he went on to do many other things.
Oh, yes.
One or two didn't work out too well for him, but you got to give him credit for hanging in there, and he'll try anything.
Absolutely.
Because he's an extremely talented actor. I mean, there's a lot, there's a lot there besides good looks. He's a very smart guy and a very talented actor. And I happen to like him a lot. Oprah Winfrey having a birthday.
Oh, wow.
She is 61 today.
61.
On
Happy
the 29th.
birthday.
Yeah, and Sarah Gilbert is an actress. She was on Roseanne. She was she is the sister of Melissa Gilbert. and she is 40 today.
Sarah Gilbert. Is that the young lady's name who's on that show called The Talk?
I believe it is. I believe that is her, yes.
Okay.
I believe that is she.
Okay.
I should have said.
Interesting.
Yes, that is she.
Interesting.
She
I have
is
a question for you. Have you heard of a sport, a relatively new sport, called foot golf?
You're not going to believe this.
You have?
I have.
Wow.
I have heard of it in this very room. We were talking about it.
Oh, you must have been talking with somebody from Parks and Rec.
I did. I heard all about that, and I think it's fascinating. I love it.
Well, I had not heard of it, but until I talked with Scott Barnard recently, the director of Goldsboro Parks and Recreation, and this is a little description. It says foot golf is a new sport that combines soccer and golf. To play, players use a soccer ball on a traditional golf course.
Right.
Cups are 21 inches in diameter. The rules are very similar to golf.
Now, a golf cup is what, about 4 or 5 inches in diameter?
This is 21.
21 inches.
Yes.
Well, you got to get the soccer ball in.
Exactly. And it
Yeah.
says, play foot golf on Saturdays and Sundays at Goldsboro Municipal Golf Course after 2 p.m.
That is wonderful.
If you need to rent a soccer ball, it's $2. Ages 13 and under must have an adult with them, and they do not want you to wear soccer cleats.
Do not wear cleats.
Messes up the greens.
Look, a 21-inch hole in a green to start with.
Yes.
The greenskeeper over there, you know, it's just kind of like nails on the chalkboard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
So they play on Saturdays and Sundays, foot golf after 2 o'clock p.m. at the golf course. That is an interesting twist and a way to use your golf course in something other than just your traditional golf.
I think it's fantastic.
And you know, now they're using disc golf out there a lot.
Are they?
Oh, yes.
At Goldsboro Municipal?
Yes, they've done it there as well, and of course they do it a lot at Stony Creek.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a lot of it at Stony Creek. Yeah.
So it's interesting the different uses of a golf course these days, not just made for golf anymore. How about that?
I love it. I love it.
Keeping it busy.
All right, today, the 29th. What do I do with the 29th? I got it here somewhere. Anyway, I mentioned this already. And we've got the Connection, Literacy Connection of Wayne County.
That's right.
That is a wonderful organization. They do mighty good work, and you would be surprised at who is getting help from Literacy Connections. You'd be surprised. There's also math and other areas that they offer help, computers and such as that. All right, so Literacy Connections of Wayne County at 2001 East Ash Street, Goldsboro.
That's exactly right. Well, I believe that is all for today, Wayne.
That is it for today, Wayne. And so we're going to leave you where you are, and we hope you're still there tomorrow when we come back. We'll be right here. Hope you're right there. So join us again tomorrow here on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Until then, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.